Look.
4:30 on the nose.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about woo?
Hey man.
Sorry, I just hijacked a whole entrance and shit because I'm an asshole.
I love Chris. Hey Chris, pleasure.
Chris, what's going on, man?
I work
from
for
Chicago?
No, just really hoping Blackhawks win tonight.
They're kind of my secondary team. I'm a Kings fan, like born and raised Kings fan. I'll respect them, the Kings. I mean, they've had a couple epic years. But my father's from Chicago.
Oh. Do you guys actually need this thing? Can I talk without it?
Oh, you do need it? Shit, so. Sounds like, like the womb, birth chamber. I'm gonna be nice, don't worry, I'm not gonna use language, man.
No, that's good. Okay, so let's then, wait.
I just stole all the thunder. Do you have like an opening? Do you want to say something?
No, see, okay, this is what I do, and now pulling the curtain back, this is rad, actually.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, I just gotta jump up and I'm here.
Which is cool, because what I do is I always like to find out what we can and cannot talk about. That way I won't, slip and say something wrong.
No, I mean, look, I'm pretty media trained, so I've got ways of getting around any question that gets asked.
Okay?
I'm kidding. No, it's okay. We can talk about whatever you want. It's okay.
No, it's totally cool. Okay, so the first thing that
Except politics. Like, I don't like politicians or politics, any of that.
Excellent. I'd rather stay away from that too. I would much rather stay away from that. It's just different conversation, different time of the day. You came in hot with a Red Bull too. Damn it.
This is cold with the Red Bull. The thing's kind of full. Yeah, this is just me.
It's all right. I'll take it. When in the wrestling scene in That's My Boy.
Yeah. Was I really hitting my manhood?
Or were you wearing? What's going on?
Sorry guys, there are maybe a couple young ears and I care about these folks, so I may tailor the language, I'll make it something creative to say.
Because to me, that was like when you the moment you did that, I lost it.
This is the best part. So I was in. Let's back up. Before I shot the movie,
I really can't talk like that. Is that okay though for you guys? You can all hear me? Okay, cool. So before I shot that movie, now I'm screaming.
So before I shot that movie, I had to put myself on tape. I get a phone call from my agent. Has anybody heard this story before?
No.
Okay, cool. Actually, I feel like I repeat myself all the time, and it kills myself. So I had my agent calls me up and says, "Hey, I've got this movie. That's My Boy. It was originally called I Hate You, Dad. Adam Sandler movie, and in it, here are the sides. Put yourself on tape tonight, and go do it." And I was filming this other movie called Kiss the Dam, and I just had my mouth full of just blood and gore and whatnot, being a vampire, and I was like, "Hey, can I just do this, over the weekend? I had a really busy week, I'm kind of tired." And my agent was like, "No, you gotta do it tonight. Tonight's the night, you gotta do it tonight." I was like, "Fuck, okay." So I finished work at 2 in the morning, and I get a PA and the first AC, which is the first assistant camera. He's the guy that pulls focus on the camera. And I say, "All right, man, I need you guys to help me put together a tape. Now, I'm gonna have you operate, and I'm gonna have you read lines with me. Meet me in the hotel room in 10 minutes, after we just wrap a 12-hour day at 2 in the morning. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be stripping down my underwear and hitting my manhood." And then I was like, "Well, it's out, right?" So then I go and put myself on tape, stripping down to my underwear for an audition tape. And at 2 in the morning, I sent it to the producer. 20 minutes later, she's like, "Oh, cool, I'll put this in front of Sandler in the morning." I'm like, "Great." 10 minutes after that, I get an email from her back saying, "This is fucking awesome. Sorry. This is awesome. I'm gonna make sure he sees it first thing in the morning." So anyhow, long story short, I put myself on tape after just eating dead animals all night long, vegetarian style, fake blood. And I stripped down my underwear for an audition tape and got the job being on a lot of really talented actors just because I think I stripped down my underwear and was kind of an idiot.
It was a brilliant move though, because it obviously led to that part, and that's great.
Yeah,
genius. Jumping around, obviously, a good part. I'm sure a good part of the room is here because Heroes. See, because I learned
the real one from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. I did a panel in Portland, and I referenced something I thought was going to go great. And kind of two people out of almost the whole room. Yeah.
What did you reference?
And I thought I had Clearly I didn't.
No, what do you mean?
No, I was just saying I wanted to make sure that I addressed heroes because that's,
sure.
Sometimes, when you come to these things, if you don't address like the reason why, that guy didn't even ask him anything about heroes. What the hell?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I'll say there's fan favorites. I mean, we as actors, we do a whole lot of, hey guys, come on in. Come on in. I'm just going to start rambling. We already started way early. It's my fault. I seriously just burst right in there.
It was awesome. You missed it.
No, you didn't miss anything. We're just getting started. Lisa, go ahead and sit down. Brad's already there, okay? Julissa and her brother, yeah, sit down, okay?
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Like we as actors, we play a lot of different roles, and I think there are fan favorites, and then there's personal favorites, and sometimes those personal favorites can kind of cross over to fan favorites and personal favorites. It just kind of goes back and forth. But yeah, I mean, Heroes was on well above the radar. Everybody took to the show, so I think that's primarily what people want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And of course, it was a major part of my career. It kind of built off of the heat that I little bit of flicker of flame from a match, on a really terribly windy day of Gilmore Girls and Rocky and all that. And then it was kind of like a big hit. So I don't even know why I'm talking, man. You just wanted to address it.
No, I just wanted, because obviously it was cool working, with when you have a great cast like what you guys did with Heroes. To me, that leads to people wanting to see more, and then all of a sudden the show goes away after 5 years. It's like,
4 years, man.
Right? Okay. So
yeah.
Pardon my that.
Everything has a shelf life. Nothing doesn't have a shelf life. Everything has a start, everything has a middle, has an end. I think in TV, the trend of wanting to bring shows back is always interesting to me because I feel like, well, there's a reason why they ended in the first place. Not everything has to come back. So for whatever reason that they're bringing back Heroes now, it's like, well, that's cool, good for them. Mm-hmm. I've said it before, I never got a phone call, which doesn't upset me. By the way, it doesn't upset me at all. It's like, when that show wrapped up 5 years ago, I'm like, okay, cool, now I can go play a different character. Because that's the thing as an actor, we enjoy it, we're very grateful for the work that we have, but at the same time, you don't want to just be, in a processing plant stamping the same size sheet of metal all the time. Sometimes you want to do, go from a circle to a square. It's just, you want to do something different. So sometimes if you're playing one character for a while, then you want to go and do something else. So when Heroes ended, I was like, okay, great, I'm going to go do something else. And I did. That was 5 years ago, and done a whole bunch of different characters. Played with a lot of great people lately and recently, and it's just interesting though, it coming back, everyone's like, are you gonna do it? I'm like, no, I'm not. I say no, I'm not with as much excitement sometimes I think as people are saying, are you doing it? And that bums people out. I don't mean to upset people. It's just, it's business.
It's exactly what it is at the end of the day. Plus you have to be happy with what is being asked of you.
Oh, of course, man. Of course. And I always relate it. I'm like, hey man, do you want to go hang out with your ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend? Like from 5 years ago? Look, some of you do. Some of you do.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
When you did a movie with John Travolta and Robert De Niro.
Killing Season.
Yeah. How was it working? Did you get to spend any time with those guys off camera, or?
A little bit. I honestly had 2 days of work for the entire. I shot the whole my portion of Killing Season in exactly 2 days. I had 1 day on the 1st of April, and then I had 1 day on the 1st of May. And that was it. I was separated. I was out in Georgia, but my agent. I just got home from doing a movie in Europe and 2 movies in. Oh man. I judge my life based on what movies I'm working on and how my hair looked for that movie. It's really sad. But I finished this one job. My agent calls and goes, hey, by the way, you're doing a movie with Robert De Niro. You're playing his son. You got 2 scenes, so it's not a lot. I'm like, that's amazing. This is going to be so great. And he goes, yeah, but you don't ever actually act with him. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is going to be great. But those guys, I showed up one day, and John is one of the kindest, coolest guys on the planet. He turned to mashed potatoes when a little baby was in the room. And De Niro, Bob, he was. Dude, he's been on a million sets, and probably met a million people, a million young actors like me. And he was super cool, really a nice guy. But we didn't have a whole lot of interaction until that was the first day I worked. But then a month later I showed up to do off camera for a phone conversation that he and I had. And I showed up to do the off camera just so that I can get a feel for the scene, but also be there for my fellow actor.
Absolutely.
Because yes, he's Robert De Niro, but also like he's a partner in a scene. And how shitty would that be if, you know, as a partner, like I'm not there for him or he wasn't there for me. But anyhow, moral of the story, I showed up for the off-camera work, and he walked up to me, hey, and like gave me this big hug. He was like, hey, you know, and he said, you know, I feel horrible. I'm not going to be around. I'm not going to be around for half of the scene. I just feel absolutely horrible about it. You know, I got to go to New York and this and that. And I was just like, Bob, it's okay, man. We're going to do it today on your half, and then tomorrow when I record my half, then I'll have your voice in my ear, and it'll be great. But it would actually amaze me that as long as he's been doing this, as big as his career has been, the amazing roles, the people he's worked with, and everything, he still gave a shit about being around for off-camera work. Like, that's a really big good karma card for actors. Like, hey, are you there for yourself, or are you there for yourself and for the other actors? Because like sometimes I make jokes, I'm like, yeah, my best acting is never seen because I'm doing it off camera for somebody else. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny when a camera's right in your face. It's like sometimes when people were sitting at the booth signing, like people just like walk by and take a photo from far away. So no, come up and meet me. You know, sometimes it's weird when the camera's right there, but when you can do it for someone else, that's sometimes when you're really giving, you know, an honest performance. Mm-hmm. So.
I would also like to open the floor if you guys have a question at any point in time. Yeah, exactly.
Just right up, man.
Seriously, no, because in touching, you know, extending on what Milo just said about, you know, just, hey, come on, it's, you know, we're all human at the end of the day. We put our pants on one leg at a time, unless we're not wearing pants. But the crux of that is, you know, if you do have a question, you want to talk to him. He's right. I mean,
look, man, I put my dress on over my head too. It's okay.
Yes, well, I guess it's not on. Milo, I saw you in Wild Card, and
cool,
I saw you in Gotham. You
Thank
were really good at bad guy, man, playing bad guys.
Yeah, I was just being myself.
So I know you can't spoil anything, but I was wondering how you come up with the chemistry, the dance between you and Jim Gordon. You know, that clash between you and...
So the clash between... So I got a phone call a while back to come on to the end... That's horrible. To play the villain for the end of the season for Gotham. And as I got the script and they said, you know, you're playing Jason Lennon, the ogre, and I'm like, ogre? I was really trying to remember like Batman World reading comics when I was a kid. And I didn't quite remember him too well, but it was a creative character, and he's a serial killer, and he's just dark, and he's fucked up, and he's just bad, and he kills women, but he's actually looking for love. Unconditional love. And I tried to make him very honest and sincere, and the writing was amazing, and you know, the partners, the actors I was working with were great. But like for me, you know, it all starts with the script. It all starts with the script. You know, if you got good words on a page, I mean, 80% of the work is done. Then all you gotta do is like go through hair and makeup, put your wardrobe on, and then just be the character. You know, so I think it was this amazing story, an amazing kind of journey that was going on where you had Jim Gordon and his foil, you know, the hero cop of Gotham, and then you had his foil, Jason Lennon, who was like the complete deplorable scum of Gotham. You know, represents the worst of the worst actually of what he's doing. So, you know, it's the words on the page. I am led by those, but then you just find the nuances, and I don't really plan a whole lot. I don't really sit and overthink about things. I think at almost 38 years old, I just try and like apply life to acting nowadays and understand, you know, what must this guy be going through, Jason Lennon, the ogre, to be seeking love and love the way that he expects it. And then when he doesn't get it, I mean, I don't know. You know, like my mother, I did this one movie one time called The Divide, and after my mom saw it and I told her not to go see it, she comes up to me and she goes, "Your father and I have a question. Did something happen to you when you were a kid that we don't know about?" Because the character that I played was like super, super bad. Like you start him off really, really a decent guy, you think he's gonna save the day, but no, it's 9 people stuck in a fallout shelter and he like spirals down into like cutting off people's fingers and like practically working over women, things like that. And my mom was convinced that something had to have happened to me when I was a kid. And I was like, "No, Mom, no, nothing happened. I didn't get bullied. I didn't get touched. I didn't get anything. Like it was totally fine. I didn't know nothing." She said, "How do you do that?" And I said, "It's acting." It's just acting. It's play pretend. Like you don't even need to go clap. It's play pretend. You know, let the wheels fall off and just while the cameras are rolling.
Did you collect comics as a kid?
Yeah, I did. I read a lot of comics. My dad would take me to Fredonia Funnies on Tustin Avenue every Wednesday night or Wednesday day. Yeah.
Do you still collect?
I don't really collect so much. I've got the Marvel app and the DC app and the Image app on my iPad, so I kind of like read comics that way, just so I'm not carting around like a bunch of books. I'm never home. I've been traveling for a year. It's fun. It's exciting, but it's also like sometimes it's tough to like collect things. You just have to live out of two suitcases and be cool with it. So yeah, so I still read comics.
All right,
best I can.
I like that.
Captain America, what's up?
I know you probably hear a lot like "I love you" in Heroes, "I love you" in Gilmore Girls. Does someone ever come to you and say, "Hey, I loved you in," and then they surprise you with what they say they saw you in and liked you in? Like for me,
like the Mountain Dew Dorito or Mountain Dew commercial from Super Bowl 2001. I wish I did. Or the MacBook Pro, or no, the Apple, no, the iMac. I did an iMac commercial. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. I was like in the middle seat of an airplane. It was about like the accessories you can put on your computer. And it's like me in the middle seat, and everybody's asleep on the plane. So I put their tray tables down, and I started expanding my world computer. Yeah, I love when people talk about my early commercial work.
I mean, like that you get surprised that someone says, "Hey, I loved you in that." Like I dug up an old bootlegs of your. Like I think it was the first TV show you were in, like called Opposite Sex.
Oh yeah, man, me and Chris Evans, Captain America.
Yeah, and I like that, and I was like, do you ever get that? Like people surprise you with telling you what they liked you in?
You know, it's exciting. I mean, a good majority of people would say Heroes or Gilmore Girls, you know, and I take anyone who was a fan of those two shows the same as anybody that's talking about maybe like the more obscure stuff. But then if you get into like this, like the more obscure stuff, like an Opposite Sex, you know, maybe. Which isn't something that's talked about. It was a show that I did when I was 21. It was with Chris Evans, who plays Captain America now. This other guy, Kyle Howard. And it was about 3 guys that go to a formerly all-girls high school, just recently made co-ed. So it's 3 girls and 200 guys at a high school. So it's basically, it's you know, Peter Petrelli and Captain America and some other guy. Are like the only guys at this girl's high school. I'm always flattered when anybody comes up to me and is just like, "Hey man, I love your work," or they come up to me and say, "I hate you." Honestly, like it's kind of endearing, even when people just, you know, like lately with Gotham, everybody just does me like, "Dude, you're so creepy." I'm like, "Yes."
Because even though they hate you, they're acknowledging you and they're paying attention to what you're doing. You're in their head.
Exactly, and they're paying attention to the character and the performance of the story, and that's what it's all, you know, I guess kind of, you know, opinions are drawn off of that stuff, as opposed to like, "Hey man, I think the way you take out your trash." And, you know, something like that. Hi, Spade, what's up?
Hi.
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
If you could be in it,
Uh-oh.
You okay?
You're good.
I can hear you, Don.
if you could be in any Disney movie, would you and why?
Oh my god, if I could be in any Disney movie? Man, there's so many Disney movies, but I'm gonna take a stab, okay? Aladdin, because I think he and I have the same hair, and we both have no chest hair. I would like to be in the Mighty Ducks, the original, just that would be fun. Because I grew up in Orange County, and they gave us a hockey team. That's kind of cool. I mean, Beauty and the Beast, it'd be fun to be the Beast, but then it's like prosthetics, and I don't know, like I don't really like going through the prosthetics. I get kind of claustrophobic, so it'd be kind of bad. Are there any Disney movies that you would like to see me in? On the spot now. I mean, look, because this is you asked a very good question. You asked a very good question, Peyton. Because I could say I would like to be in Star Wars, because that's kind of Disney now. I would like to be in Marvel, because that's all Disney now. So I mean, there's, you know, the world has kind of opened up. It's funny. Actually, I applied for a job at Disneyland when I was 17, and they didn't give me a job. I did. I signed up to pick up trash. I was like, yeah, man, I'll collect trash on Main Street or whatever, Tomorrowland, Futureland, wherever you want me, man, I'm in. Because my mom worked at Disneyland, my sister worked at Disneyland, and they wouldn't take me over at Disneyland. So funny enough, though, I have a new show coming out called The Whispers on June 1st on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So they ultimately hired me, you know, so I can kind of like wag my finger and be like, I got you. Put Mickey Mouse in a headlock or something. Faith, I want you to think about it though. Think about any like Disney characters you want me to play. I already said a lag. You're confirming. You're confirming. It's the no chest hair, right? Okay. A what? Did you say a fantastic Cinderella?
You would make a fantastic Elsa.
Elsa? From Beauty and the Beast? Oh, that's right. Sorry, man, dude. Frozen scared the hell out of my nephew, so I don't really talk about Frozen. One day I was like trying to put my nephew down to a nap, and so we laid on my bed, and I kind of used the ceiling as like an imaginary screen. I was telling them a story about a deep sea diver and a submarine and all this, and then I said, "There's this crocodile," and I start doing this. My nephew loses his shit, sobbing, crying, and I look over because my dad was laying down with me, and we were like trying to get the kid to sleep, and my dad just goes, and he kind of covers his ears and goes, "That's what the bad guy from Frozen does. He's got these hands, he does this, and he gives my nephew nightmares." So we don't really talk about Frozen in my household. Elsa. Yeah, it's the long flowing hair. Hey, Dawn, what's up?
Well, speaking of obscure work, I thought of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, well done.
Seeing you in that, but that's not my question.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Gilmore Girls, obviously, so I wanted to ask you what was your favorite Jess and Luke moment on the show?
Wow, I was about to cry. No joke. Like Scott Patterson and I, he's just a good actor. He's a great actor, and he really gives a shit about what he was doing, and he worked really hard. And we had these, massive scripts that looked like biblical roles unfolding, and there's so many. I think probably one of my favorites to play was the last moment before Jess takes off. Wow, I got a little something there. It was always fun. For me, I've always enjoyed playing that kind of fraternal or brotherly. Those are the same thing. Brotherhood type roles. Like what I did with John Bernthal in Mob City, what I did with Adrian Pasdar in Heroes, what I did with Scott Patterson in Gilmore. I don't know. There's something impactful about brotherhood. It's like hey, look, I know girls want to see the guy smooching the girl and like loving on her and being romantic, and like that's super cool. I'm all into that too. But there's also something when you kind of like take that out, and it's actually about like honor and respect. I don't know. There's just something different about like kind of the fraternal order of things that I always appreciated. So there's a million memories with Scott, that come to mind. But I do remember and recall every single one of them. I enjoyed. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Alexis.
Thanks, Dylan.
And I wanted to ask, since it just goes with what you just said, I have the perfect show for you. You want it Supernatural with Jared Padalecki.
Supernatural's already out.
I know, but the guest star on the show.
Oh, you want to know? It's actually pretty crazy. So there's this guy, Peter Johnson. I'm not sure if he's still producing the show, but when McGee created the show, I knew about it, and I think Jared and I were both coming off of Gilmore,
Yeah.
and PJ, he was one of the producers that worked for McGee for Wonderland Sound of Vision. And we'd always made jokes about that, this is bad. I know him as Jared and Jensen. I know it's Sam and Dean. Thank you. What's the Winchesters?
Winchester.
Thank you. There was a joke that the Winchester had this crazy cousin named Lev who carried a crossbow.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm like, oh shit, and there's Daryl Dixon. But we came up with that way first. But he had a crazy cousin named Lev, which was short for Leavenworth, and he had a mustache and carried a crossbow, and he was constantly smoking. And he was just like this wry cousin who just didn't care. He was like a cross between like the Punisher and a bail bondsman and like a piece of garbage on the side of the road. But it was something interesting that we'd always talked about, but never happened. I guess I've been a kind of busy guy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to lock me down to do something where it's just like kind of a quick in and out. Like Gotham. Gotham came up because I was free. I just finished one job and I'd just gotten home, and they're like, hey, we got an offer to go do Gotham. I'm like, great, I got nothing to do for the next month and a half, so let's do it.
Okay.
It would be fun to be on Supernatural just because I know Jared, I know Jensen,
And you're going to the Austin Festival for Gilmore?
Don't know yet. I'm not sure if I'm going. So in Austin, in June 4th, 5th, 6th, or something like that, there's this thing called the Austin Television Festival. And they kind of like reunite cast and whatnot. I know there's going to be a big Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, Jared's going.
Yeah, I know Jared. Well, Jared lives there. I mean, come on. If they want to put one in Los Angeles, California, but yeah, I think I can make that one. I'm gonna try. But anyhow, they're reuniting the Gilmore cast, and I'm going to try and make it. But the movie that I'm going off to do on Monday, it doesn't finish until June 6th, and I don't have my schedule till the very end, so I don't know if I can actually make it yet. So I'm waiting.
Okay.
Hopefully, it'll be nice because it'd be good to see the whole crew.
Okay, thank you.
Timing has to be, like, obviously something that falls on some people's side, and it's fallen on yours, you know, when you were offered the role in Gotham. I mean, that's, you know, I'm not doing something, not doing the phone call ring, say, let's do this. And, you know, now that takes your time until you have your next project, and so on. The momentum, I think, is great. And some people, at times, are like, God, it's got to be a pain in the ass. You got to, you know, have some time at home or do this and the other.
It's kind of like life on hold, you know? It's like, I'm not married, I don't have any kids yet, I don't, you know, it's like I'm kind of on my own. It's like my work is my passion, is what I drive, like, and am driven to do.
Mm-hmm.
So while I can really be so selfish and only need to think about myself, not have to think about myself, but need to think about myself, it's not a bad way to live, and it's okay. But it is, it's timing and having the availability to go and do these things. You know, it's different than having a job where you're kind of in and out, and you know, that's what your world is, and you book your vacations, and you make your family holidays and all that. But you know, for me, it's like I'm just constantly gone. This is a very interesting life. It's a very interesting, but it's a fun life.
Absolutely, yeah. And then that's having that momentum, I think.
God, did I just bring the whole panel down?
No. let's your question. Yes.
What's up, Melissa?
I'm escaping, you're telling me to stay.
I know. I mean, look, if you want to go, you can go. It's okay. I'm not going to stop you.
And now, wait,
I love it. What's up?
and my question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, how was it transitioning from stuff like American Dreams, Gilmore Girls, Dirty Deeds, by the way, hilarious.
Thank you.
And going to something like Pathology? Like, how did you get your mind space from like rom-com to just incredibly dark, which, by the way, some of your, what in my opinion, best work, your acting in that was
Thank you.
phenomenal.
How do I transition from the light stuff to the darker stuff? I guess I kind of just get myself in the right frame of mind. You know, I really do give everything that I can to my work. I do. I don't think about what's coming up beyond the work. So let's say when I was finishing up on my season of Heroes and I have Pathology coming up, the second Heroes is done and that job is out of the way. It's like, let me just put that off to the side. Let me totally forget about Peter Petrelli and that whole group for a minute. And let me think about who Ted Gray is and this character. And I just kind of immersed myself in the world. Like for Pathology, I went to the LA County Coroner's Office and I spent a lot of time with cadavers and watching real autopsies and holding decapitated heads in my hand and talking to pathologists and things like that. Yeah, it was an interesting process, but for me it's just, I find music that puts me in the right headspace, and then I just kind of like sit and think about the world and like what these people experience and how they approach their lives, and then I just try and be them when the cameras are rolling, you know? When the cameras are rolling, I'm Ted Gray, I'm Peter Petrelli, I'm Robert Balboa Jr., I'm all those people when the cameras are rolling. When they stop, I'm back to being me. But usually it's an interesting process because I'll gear up in my mind as I get closer and closer to the start, like the first day of production, first day of filming, and I kind of become the character, and I kind of quietly pull back from my family and friends, and like as I'm turning into whoever I'm turning into, and I'm getting closer and closer to day one of production, and then after day 1, 2, maybe 3, I'm able to like shake the character off of me, and he just stays on set, and I don't have to deal with him until I'm back on set. So it's an interesting process. It's kind of a lonely process, but it's worked for me, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Seems like your run, where the question that she just asked you know, light to dark, and this character and that character, to me it also reminds me of Jared Leto too. He's done, you know, all this with Jordan Catalano, that is getting his ass kicked in Fight Club. Sure. And there's, you know, all these different other movies where, you know, the characters, so yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, where I've been lucky too as an actor. I feel like I'm a bit of a chameleon because I've played everything. I've played everything. I've played a slick serial killer, I've played the kid with his head in the clouds, I've played idiots, many idiots for Adam Sandler. You know, blonde hair, shaved head, rain, like all kinds of different stuff, the dark, the light. I just immerse myself in the character, you know, and I think because of that, you know, there's no one defining character. It's like I'm able to to slide into what I happen to be playing at the moment.
When you say you listen to music to get you in the mindset or clear your head, what do you listen to?
It's all character dependent.
Okay.
You know, like what Danny DeMarco from Wildcard listened to is way different than what like the current movie I'm about to do, this farmer named Jackson Pritchard, and what is kind of bopping around his head.
Okay.
Or what I was listening to when I was playing the ogre. I mean, everything is just different. It's whatever strikes a chord in me, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can sink right back into it.
Okay.
You know, it's an instant trigger. It's a trigger. You're looking for those things that maybe those days that you don't feel like being on set, like you don't feel like being at work sometimes. You're like, no, I'm never gonna get this moment back, so I gotta do it well. I gotta do it well for myself. I gotta do it well for my partners in the scene. I gotta do it well for the crew. I gotta do it well for the audience. All that, and you sometimes need a little help. So for me, it's always been music. You know, if I have that one song that's a trigger or a photo or an image or something that just like boom puts me right into the character, I use it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes, sir.
So Josh, right?
Yes.
Cool.
I just want to start off by I'm jealous of your beautiful face.
Dude, brother, you're fucking good looking, man. Seriously.
But
Dude, we get, yeah, okay, thank you.
my question is, since you were
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's clarify. Jealous means you don't want me to have it?
I mean,
Let's say envious.
okay, I'm
Okay, cool.
envious of your beautiful face.
No, we skip all that, dude. You're a good man. Ladies, this is Josh. Very nice guy, good looking guy. There we go. All right. Drop your numbers in the box for him at the end of the door.
My question is, since Peter was such a big, character in Heroes, how do you think the new Heroes show is gonna go without you being there?
I have no idea, man. I really don't know how the new Heroes is going to go without me being there. I know there was one guy who's a writer on it. He told me about a script he was working on where Peter and Nathan Petrelli were mentioned, and I was like, well, that's really kind. You know, I don't know. I think everybody's wondering how the show's going to go without a couple of the favorites. You know, the favorite characters, but then again, I mean, they got Jack Coleman, they got Masioka, they got Zach Levi, not Quinto, who's a great guy and a good actor. I think everybody's wondering, but you know, Josh, I have no fucking clue, man. I'm not reading those scripts. I'm not on that set. I never got a phone call. It's okay, man. I don't know. And add to, like, again, Heroes was 5 years ago for me. You know, so it's a fond memory to revisit the people that I made the show with, but I don't dream about where it would have gone, where it should be going. I honestly, sadly, guys, I don't think about Heroes. I'm very reverent. It's like, you know, thinking about an old love of yours, an old girlfriend, an old boyfriend, any of that stuff. It's like, yeah, you still care about that person even though you're not with them anymore. You want them to do well. Hopefully, we're good people. We wish well of our exes, so to say, you know, like boyfriends, girlfriends, whatnot. It's like, that's what Heroes kind of was. You know, it was a fond memory. It was also heartbreaking. It was also really fucking hard at times. It really was. But I wish them well, you know. And you know, just because that show has, you know, new players or whatever, it's like, oh man, that's cool. Go for it. I'm excited for it. It should be fun.
Cool, thank you.
You got it, bud.
So one of my favorite movies of yours is Tell.
Thank you.
Recently came out. What was it like working with such an all-star cast like Jason Lee and Robert Patrick and
So Tell, for anybody that doesn't know, was a movie that I produced and acted in. It came out last December. It's about this guy who is a small-time crook who gets out of a 3-year stint in prison for $1 million bank robbery. And now he's got his wife, his brother-in-law, and 2 crooked cops all after him for the money that he just doesn't have anymore. And in it, the cast was Katie Sackhoff. You guys remember her from like Battlestar and whatnot. Another, you know, amazing actress. Jason Lee, rat skateboarder, but also dynamite actor. Robert Patrick, you know, Terminator and a million other things. And Alan Tudyk. I love him, man. Tudyk is so huge in cons. He's the best. Working with that cast, it was a lot of fun. I basically made phone calls to my friends and said, hey, would you come do my movie? Oh yeah, here's some money. You know? So, I mean, Katie, I've known Katie since I was 20 years old, and I've been dying to be on a set with her. And when I mentioned her name to the director and the other producers, everybody, of course, knew who she was, but you know, she's usually playing this kind of tough girl, and here's this woman who's in these beautiful lady suits and skirts, and she's like feminine, but also like really kind of like terribly like messed up in the head. But it was an opportunity for her as an actress to do something different. And I thought maybe that'd be kind of fun. And Jason Lee, same thing, you know, and Robert and Alan, I mean, those guys, sweethearts, but, you know, playing these two asshole cops that are just beating me up an entire movie, it's like they had so much fun with it. Yeah, but like they're super great, but for me, it's always exciting when I can put something together on the production end of things as a producer with my company and bring in great actors and not worry about, not even think about, wow, is this going to sell overseas or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, skip the business a minute. Let me put some great actors in this. Let me put my friends in this. Maybe I'm going to bring my friends that gave me an opportunity or gave me a job and kind of pay it forward a little bit because, you know, it's fun. It's fun when you're surrounded and working with your friends. So it was a blast. It was absolutely a blast.
That your reference to bringing their friends and stuff, that might be how obviously Seth Rogen and James Franco then bring in a few other people, the Broken Lizard Troupe and so on and so forth. They, you know, you see the same people in some of the same movies. Adam Sandler, same thing.
Chandler does the same thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hi. So with the heroes and everything, I could imagine that you couldn't really choose your own character. So if you could
I actually auditioned for 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I auditioned to play Isaac first, the painter, and then I auditioned to play Peter, who originally was called Ethan.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
That's weird.
It's crazy weird. But it happens. If you look at Santiago Cabrera and I, it's like he and I are kind of similar types of actors, you know, dark hair, kind of like Moody Rudy kind of thing. But then they also saw every single actor in town in LA and New York for the Petrellis, and I think I was the last guy they saw. And they were like, well, fuck, I guess we gotta go with this guy. But the guy who directed the pilot is a really great director named Dave Semmel. I worked with him on American Dreams, and apparently from the beginning, he was telling the producers, hey, you've got to see this guy, Ventimiglia, Milo. And then finally, I was in Philadelphia shooting Rocky, and so I went to New York, put myself on tape, and they saw it, like, wow, that's the guy. But originally I read for Isaac and for Peter. I read for both of them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So here's my question.
I know what a jerk. I just totally hijacked him like
I whatever you want. I love talking up here. Anyway, so if you could have any superpower that you want, what would it be? What would your choice of superpower be?
I mean, usually I say the superpower to like avoid questions like that, but no, it's always teleportation for me.
Really?
You know, I think flying is kind of cool, but you know, I imagine it gets cold up there. So teleportation, yeah, you can just kind of like blink in, blink out, and you're there. It's like that movie Jumper. You ever see Jumper?
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that be? You're just like, you know, jump in here and jump out there. It's like, I just think that the idea of that, you can cover a lot of ground. Because I don't know if you guys know much about Los Angeles or who lives out there. Like, traffic sucks. And like, I'm not like I try and give myself enough time when I'm driving or like on my motorcycle or something, but sometimes, you know, you just want that extra little 10 minutes of sleep or whatever. So it'd be nice to be able to like wake up, you know, 2 minutes before you gotta be somewhere, boom, snap out, snap in, snap out.
It could be useful for a bad date too, you know? Hop in, hop out.
Nah, I just finish out the
No, it's
day.
great. You don't have to pay the bill.
No, I'll pay the bill. It's okay, I don't mind. Yeah, you got it.
You could always be a State Farm agent if you wanted to.
What's up, dude?
Another Josh here. She kind of took my question, so I'll just go off a different route. But
okay.
definitely a big fan of the recent work in Gotham. Of
Thanks,
course,
man.
I Hate You, Dad, and
Thank you.
Heroes has been one of my favorites.
Thanks, Josh.
Do you have any favorite, like, off-moment times with Christopher Eccleston?
Oh man, Christopher Eccleston. So if you guys don't know, I'm sure you do know, Christopher Eccleston. He played the Invisible Man on Heroes. He was a Doctor Who, and I mean, if you think about that dude's resume, that guy is one of the most amazing actors on the planet. And I remember when he was coming on the show, like everybody was like, "Oh my God, we got Christopher Eccleston! Wow!" And then like, "Yeah, Milo, you're gonna be acting with him." I'm like, okay. I just remember a very cool guy. You know, it's like. It's funny, it's like I don't remember a lot of, you know, detailed stories with people or things. I try and remember names and faces the best I can, but I remember feelings. I remember how I feel when I meet someone. I remember what I'm kind of left with, and hopefully what I can always leave in response to that, you know. And I just remember walking away from the experience of working with Chris. I was like, wow, this dude's a pro. He's so good. He's so much fun to watch and to act with. And he's just a nice guy. He was just a very, very nice, giving, talented man. And that's always an amazing reason to show up to work.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You got it, bud.
Just to give you guys hands up too, we have about 5 minutes left.
Which usually means about 10 minutes. So.
With Marvel and DC making all these different movies and coming out, which...
Hold on, you know it's kind of Ed, right? Your name's Ed? Paul. Shit, Paul. I messed it up. No. From my vantage point, there's a gal standing behind the bunny ears, so it looks like you have the bunny ears. Sorry. I just had to recognize that and tell everybody because that was kind of fun.
It's just
Marvel and DC
Yeah,
movies.
with them making all those movies and stuff, which character would you want to be able to play?
Oh man, don't you know this is taboo to ask that? Because it is never gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, but you gotta have one comic book.
Dude, one? I got 10, brother. Actually, I got 3, but I'll never talk about it.
Do you think he should have been cast in Suicide Squad?
I don't know. I think he'd make a great Nightwing.
Thank you.
There you go.
I think so too.
I just wanted to know, how was it for you to work with, especially Stallone on Rocky Balboa?
Dude, Stallone's the best, man. Stallone is one of the coolest guys I've ever met. I mean, he's first of all one of the most intelligent men I've ever met. Very humble. You know, I think there's stories like grandiose stories of who he might have been in the '80s, but I mean, he was the kindest, coolest, funniest dude on the planet. I mean,
Did you grow up watching all the?
Oh yeah, man. I watched all of them.
How was it for you to get that call?
The call was pretty cool. You know, my agent called and I mean, to make a long story really brief, I went in an audition. They actually didn't think I was right for the role at first because they said they wanted somebody who was the opposite of him. You know, and I was like, wait, what do you mean the opposite? Like, we don't want to use, like, you know, like kind of like a musclehead or anything. I'm like, have you guys seen me lately? I was like 27 at the time. Like, I thought I was badass, but I was probably like weighed like $1.25. So I was like, yeah, I can play bookish and nerdy, sure. So I went and I read for casting. They put the tape in front of Sly. I sat down with Sly, had my meeting with him. He was like, hey kid, how you doing? And I got the part. And but the phone call I got from my agent was like pretty exciting. But actually, the better story is my best friend Russ, who's also my producing partner. We were super like low budget, and we were working out of my house. And I was sitting at my kitchen counter, and he walked into the house, and I think he knew what was going on that day. And he walks in the house, and he goes, "Did you get it?" And I just sit there and I was going, bum, 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 bum. And he's like standing over my doorway.
He's standing over my doorway. He's got his sunglasses on. He like walks up to me, takes his sunglasses off, and goes, "Don't fuck this up for me. I really like those movies."
So that was like, oh my god. There's no time to be excited because I do not want to fuck it up for Russ. You know, but it was a really, really big honor to be, you know, chosen for that. But it was also like, wow, man, I'm part of a 30. Well, at the time, you know, oh wait, no, it's been several more years now. You know, it was like massive legacy, $1 billion legacy, and like stories. And I mean, that whole speech where he talks when he were sliding down the alley, he talks about, "I'm gonna believe this," he's putting a palm on my hand. That whole speech, like, I mean, he and I would sit in his office and talk about that and rehearse that. And the line where he says, you know, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. Like, that line wasn't in the script. And he and I are in his office rehearsing, you know, talking about that scene and, you know, a few others. And he's just kind of riffing and whatnot. And he's stomping around his office with, you know, with a cigar talking. And he says that line. He stops and goes, "Wow, that's a pretty good line." And he walks over to his desk and he writes it down. The next day it was in the pages. So, I mean, like, wow, to be a part of even that side of creativity forming and happening just out of a conversation, like, it was incredible, man. One of the best experiences of my life. Like that, and being up in an F-16, like, I was pretty fucking cool.
Thanks, bro.
You got it, bud.
Strong question, too. All right, final one.
Hello, my name's Ayana.
Hi, Anna, how are you?
I'm okay.
You were cracking my shit up, dude. Funny, you're and you're not even trying to be funny, you just were.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, I was just wondering, if acting didn't work, what career could you see yourself doing?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not picking up trash at Disney. I don't know. I mean, look, there's a million different things I think I probably could be doing. Hopefully, it would always stay in the kind of creative sector. You know, I do a lot of photography. I love photography. I mean, if I was really, I'd probably be a photographer, you know. But then again, it's like that's just, I don't know. This is not gonna. I don't know if it's not gonna happen. But I mean, you know, I am what I am in acting and whatnot, producing and directing. And God, what a jerk! I'm just like weird. I'm off today, guys. Sorry.
It's okay. You'll probably still stay in like movie industry.
Maybe I would. I mean, if I like, I don't know. Maybe I would go reapply at Disneyland. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Let's get loud here, guys. Milo Ventimiglia!
What did you say?
I could be what?
A prince.
I could be a prince at Disneyland. I could be allowed at Disneyland. There we go. I'd be allowed.